If you give them an inch, they will take a mile, but they will take that mile inch by inch so that you don't notice. Every crisis will be another excuse for taking one more inch of your freedom. This video is all about freedom, whether we lose more of it or whether we can keep it. But first, I want to touch on last week's video, the war on digital currency. At the end of that, I suggested that this war that the government, that the Securities and Exchange Commission is doing against the cryptocurrency sector is at the behest of all of the powers that be, because all of these free market cryptos threaten not only governments, but the whole banking sector and Wall Street. And so I proposed that that this war is just to slow down the free market development of the cryptocurrencies so that central bank digital currencies can take hold and that they can control us, and so that all of the powers that be on Wall Street, the financial sector, so that they can get their cut. And when I record a video, it gets recorded one day and then edited that evening or the next day and then gets posted that next day. So after, at the end of that, the end of last video that I put out, I said BlackRock files for spot Bitcoin ETF, and that Wall Street getting on board with this and getting their piece of the action was the reason for that war on crypto. And then the day that it came out, Deutsche Bank applies for digital assets license amid growth push, and they applied for regulatory permission to operate a custody service for digital assets such as cryptocurrencies, and then crypto exchange backed by Citadel, Fidelity, and Schwab starts operations the day after that video came out. Anyway, to the topic of freedom and whether or not we're going to be able to keep some of it. This is the European Central Bank announcing that, their digital currency, the reason for it, a digital euro would complement cash and offer an additional payment option, says the board member. And then the video continues with a digital euro would protect people's freedom to pay. So this thing where there's a single ledger. Now, this is what George Gammon warns about. So I urge you to watch some of George Gammon's videos on digital currency. It doesn't require the central bank digital currency. All it requires is a single ledger, and then they can punish certain behaviors and reward other behaviors and start controlling the entire population. So this is a map of today's central bank digital currency status. So you've got the good ones canceled. To me, that's good. And Ecuador canceled their cryptocurrency development. Research, proof of concept, pilot, so that's in all of these peach-colored countries, launched, blue, and this is interesting because you can take this back almost 10 years, January 2014. You got Finland already canceling their plans, but later on they renew them. Uruguay doing research. And you can just scroll through this a little bit at a time and see the slow development of people going through, like purple is proof of concept. So, and then you can see that Finland no longer canceled theirs. They have another one that, so that's Norway. Finland canceled, and then a new one, Stella Research, and then retail digital euro being researched. And so as we go along, we're headed toward a world where it will all be digital currency, and it isn't just the danger of loss of freedom and people, the governments and other organizations, as you will see, being able to control all of it. It's much more than that. These are the G20 members, so the G20 countries. And you'll notice that every single G20 country is covered by this digital bank central currency status. So they're all either researching or introducing CBDCs, all of the G20 members. Now, the G20 leaders agree to global vaccination passport system. Where will it end? So this isn't just your passport status. As you will see, this stuff keeps on growing. If you give them an inch, they will take a mile, but they will take that mile inch by inch so that you don't notice. Every crisis will be another excuse for taking one more inch of your freedom, your ability to move around, your ability to buy and sell things, and eventually your ability to think and say whatever you want to think and say. Countries begin negotiations on global agreement to protect world from future pandemic emergencies. Now, they always have to introduce a crisis because you never want to let a good crisis go to waste. So what they're doing is preparing you with a little bit of fear. Global leaders unite in urgent call for international pandemic treaty. Now, this treaty is supposed to happen in 2024. We still have time. But the way this thing has been engineered is if the President of the United States does not say, no, we don't agree, then we have automatically agreed and we have to obey these rules set out by the World Health Organization. So you have to you're automatically opted in if you don't opt out. So it requires saying something. Now, I really have no political stance. This video is just about freedom. So take it as you will. I'm not giving advice or promoting any other position other than the fact that I like my freedom. I like to be able to say what I want. I like to be able to go where I want to go. And I like to be able to buy the things I want to buy and sell the things I want to sell. This is the director of the World Health Organization announcing the adoption of the global health passports for limiting international travel for the unvaccinated. But they're going to have, it isn't just your vaccine status. That's the way that's how they're starting it. But they've already said that it's going to contain all your health information, basically. It's going to contain other health information. After a while, it will be all your health information. They get to declare a health emergency at any time, but they haven't defined what a health emergency is. And so it can be any health emergency that they see in any country, and they get to dictate what goes on in that country. This is basically a one world government. You couple this with, so next pandemic could be even deadlier, the WHO warns. Well, of course it can with these, with the experimentation that is going on in labs, that could definitely happen. So let's come up with a solution and then create a problem so that everybody can come to us and we will be everybody's savior, and they will all give us more power. Now, you couple this with central bank digital currencies. This was the Fed's announcement of their research into CBDC, but it's getting closer and closer every day. And then this is what just somebody tweeted. This concerned citizen tweeted this glimpse into the future where everybody is connected to the Internet of Bodies in order to participate in society. And here he goes into a market in London and shot this. He goes up, and you actually have to have your own QR code to be able to get into this. So you've got to couple your identification, which will also become eventually, you won't be able to go into a market and buy food unless you've got your vaccination status, all your health, and then, so you can't get in and out of the market to buy the food, but you've got to be identified first to be able to get into this market. So this is something that is never going to end. And there have been a whole bunch of, I'm not recommending anything either way, but what I want to point out is that there are these bills that have been introduced, and one is the World Health Organization Withdrawal Act. Another one is no taxpayer funding for the World Health Organization Act. Another one is no WHO Pandemic Preparedness Treaty Without Senate Approval Act. Well, guess what? The Senate approval really doesn't matter because it's the president that either says yes or that either says no or doesn't say no. And if the president doesn't say no, it means that we have agreed and that we are part of this thing where the World Health Organization can dictate what every country is going to do as far as their response to any health emergency. And if it's any health emergency, they can declare a flu season or whatever they want and limit travel and tell us what to do, where to go. And beyond that, they're going to be the ones that help to create and distribute all of the vaccines, and they will be able to censor anybody that disagrees with them. If your thought and the words you speak threaten their position, they will be able to censor you so that there will be no opposition. U.S. legislators introduced a bill that would prohibit creation of an American CBDC. This is Tom Emmer, and he introduced legislation. This is fairly old. That was January, but it goes on. Senator Ted Cruz, and here's his website at the end of March, introduces legislation prohibiting unilateral Fed control of a U.S. digital currency. So this isn't prohibiting the currency, it's prohibiting the Federal Reserve from controlling that currency. Everybody's heard about this. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis banning central bank digital currency in Florida. And here's his website. And then, Florida, he did do this. He signed the bill to ban central bank digital currencies. And I just want to point this out. I make no recommendations, but there are some websites that exist. Exit the WHO, Stop the WHO, Screw the WHO, all.coms. And this is one place where someone can go and submit an email to all congressmen and senators, Congress people, I should say, congressmen and women and senators, with one click. You can send your comments, whether you support it or whether you think that it's a bad idea that there should be one entity in the world where one person, the director, can declare an emergency, not necessarily a pandemic, some sort of emergency, and then lock down that society, limit travel. So you need permission from him to know whether or not you can get on a bus, into a taxi, pay for an Uber, book an airline flight. So I just see the convergence of these health passports and central bank digital currencies and other things as a very, very scary thing. Now, another reason is because this all puts all of human society, if we get rid of cash, it puts all of human society on a system that has a single failure point. The power grid and the internet are completely intertwined. You don't have an internet without a power grid. You may not have a power grid after a coronal discharge from the sun. There's a lot of reasons that could fail. If we don't have any cash, then transactions can't happen among individuals. If we're all on digital currencies and the internet is down, there goes all the cash. It has vanished. The medium of exchange that everybody has come to use and expect, we are crippled by our dependency on a single medium of exchange, and once that goes digital, it is crippled by the reliance on power and communications. And to show you how scary that is, this latest cyber attack, the most colossal cyber theft and extortion event in American history, well, this is in world history, in history, period. So this cyber attack, and then we have Klaus Schwab warning us of the loss of the internet globally from a cyber attack. And this wouldn't mean just the deaths of a few thousand or a few million. It would mean that the death toll would go into the billions, and humanity would be shoved right back into a modern dark ages. It would be a horrific event. This would be something that, I mean, I'm not sure if nuclear war or if the internet going down globally, I don't know which one would be worse. A whole lot of the power grids throughout the world and the water distribution is controlled through the internet. So this is scary to the maximum. I'd like you to watch this little video clip, this trailer that somebody put together of Klaus's speech.
Pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack.
It is something for all of us to be worried about, and you may want to have an opinion on this. Don't adopt my opinion, develop your own, and then take some action. Let other people know, and maybe write your congressman and senator. I want to thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.